Yay!
Hi.
Hi.
Am I the only one here?
No, hi Terry.
Oh, hi there.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
The world is connecting. It's so beautiful.
Wow, look at this. Amazing. Okay, 9:01. Welcome everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Sustainable Kashi first ever Zoom call.
How many people have joined so far?
We have
So fun.
25 people.
Nice.
Social distancing never looked so beautiful, right everyone? 31 participants.
Yay.
We're going to go over some basic guidelines before we start. So how this class is going to unfold is we're going to open up the floor for a topic of discussion. So we do have 37 now. Welcome if you just joined. And if you're joining, make sure to mute yourself if Amy hasn't already muted you. We're going to open up the floor for a topic of discussion, and then we're going to share a video that we made with you all on something that we wanted to share with you. And then we're going to close with ending statements and a question and answer. So everyone, welcome. We're so excited to be able to bring this information live to you over this platform. We teach our free Wednesday permaculture classes here at Kashi every Wednesday. And now we're really excited to be able to bring it to everyone live. This is such an important time for all of us to really be diving into these topics and shifting over to more regenerative lifestyles and more regenerative practices, and especially what we're facing today. So to begin, my name is Mandolyn Freeman. I'm the project manager here at Sustainable Kashi. Sustainable Kashi is an interactive demonstration program. It has an off-grid eco-village where we capture rainwater, we harvest solar energy and use it in our home biogas system. We use our own methane to cook with, and we have a 3-week work exchange program where students come and they live off-grid in our eco-village, and they learn how to really connect with the environment and learn how to grow their own food and live in community. So we have 9 demonstration gardens, and it's all nestled within the Kashi community, which is an ashram intentional community. So we're really, really blessed right now during these times, and we feel very connected to the work that we're doing and our passions, especially seeing that so many grocery stores are running out of food and everyone is facing extreme isolation during these times. When we're here and we're still growing our own food, we have a source of water that we're connected to that we can rely on, as well as being within community that we can rely on. Still practicing social distancing though, within our community as much as we can. So to begin for today, I wanted to start with the question of what is permaculture? And you know, there's thousands of different definitions for permaculture. And the thing that I like to think of with permaculture is it being a holistic design science that has the tools that we need through ethics, principles, and guidelines that allows us to come back into living in harmony with the earth. So in permaculture, we are working with the earth instead of against the earth, such as tearing down forests and tearing down indigenous cultures to create agricultural systems for an industrialized society. So we're creating a system that creates a permanent culture that sustains itself. And I love understanding that permaculture is so much more than just growing food. It is so much more than agriculture. And that's what we're going to be discussing in these classes to come. Today, we're going to be sharing a video with you that is on growing your own food, but it is so much larger than that. All of us coming together right now and sharing this space in this community is permaculture. It's a regenerative solution. And to begin with permaculture, we need to be focusing on ethics. And I really wanted to bring up the topic of ethics because right now we're facing a lot of situations in our society where ethics are not being valued. Economy is being valued over ethics. And the way that we've done things is really focused on a linear approach. And permaculture is not linear. It is a wide, vast web, a holistic approach where we look at so many different aspects that all work together and everything is interconnected. And, you know, if we're focusing on one place to get our food from, one place to get our electricity from, one place to get our resources from, as well as our goods shipped from China, we see all of these effects that is happening in this huge scarcity of resources that we're experiencing right now. So permaculture really brings us back into that self-reliance and not necessarily self-sufficiency, not just isolating yourself in a bubble and being able to provide everything you need for yourself by yourself, but self-reliance where you can rely on a community. So here at Kashi, we have a lot of different people that play different roles. And community is a huge important part of permaculture because there we're not reliant on just ourselves or dependent on the system. So we're creating a system within our community where we can rely on one another and be more resilient and not have to rely on a system, the dependent system that we are on, that's not resilient. So resiliency would be able to come back from a tragedy or being able to come back from a disaster. And we can see that when we're planting our gardens and we're really rooted down in having self-reliance, we're more resilient when all these disasters happen that we're facing today. So bringing that back to the 3 ethics of permaculture, which is earth care, people care, and fair share. And if you've taken a PDC, you may already know about the ethics and have heard about them, but this is a really, really beautiful tool that we can use in our lives today because of what we're facing. And thinking about how we can all take this time to really think and reflect on how we can move forward in our lives that's based around earth care, people care, and fair share. And these ethics are the foundation for permaculture. And traditional societies thrived by valuing the health of their natural resources, working together as a tribe, and understanding that our resources are finite, only taking what we need for the tribe to survive. So that's what comes into fair share, only taking what you need. We're realizing that when we go into the store, not many people are practicing fair share, right? A lot of people are taking an excessive amount of things and hoarding things because of the scarcity mentality. But if we're able to take only our piece of the pie, then we can have an abundance to share. And that goes for plant materials as well. If we have a lot of plant materials during this time, so if we have seeds, if we have anything that we can share with our community through hopefully shipping, not coming in person contact and giving it to them, but that's a great place to practice fair share permaculture ethic. And we're looking at a very potent time in our history to be able to really change our lifestyles and start embodying these permaculture ethics. And it's one thing to grow your own food, but it's another thing to actually take these ethics and principles and put it into our lives and our lifestyles. So how can you start today where you're more aligned with permaculture? How can you move towards being more sustainable and resilient? We're recognizing within our global society that our current way of living does not model resiliency. We're dependent on limited resources, and we're faced with the question of what do we do when the food trucks stop running? So it's really, really potent times for us to start placing ethics over economy and really shift our ways. It's a really, really interesting time for all of us to be together right now. And I'm really appreciative that everybody is taking time right now to come and listen and share and be here and be open and be willing to change and be willing to look inside and see in what ways can we move towards a more regenerative lifestyle. I really wanted to open the floor. If anybody had anything that they wanted to share, you can click on the raise hand button.
Thank you. I just want to say it's a real exciting time for me. I feel like I've been kind of preparing for this my whole life. I was born on a sailboat, so I had a lot of time in isolation and a lot of time with sustainability. and then found permaculture and been doing that for many years. And now living in intentional community, it's like everything's coming together for this particular portion in history for me. So I feel very prepared, and I'm excited to be able to share any of the things that I've learned to help anybody get through this experience better, to connect with each other, and to really create abundance within their lives and within a social structure that's changing quickly up around all of us. So this really excites me as a platform and as a way to reconnect us in a way that's safe and educational. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Yes, I couldn't agree more. It's really beautiful to see something that we have been practicing and implementing into our lives for such a long time, and then seeing how important it is during these times and having that resource. I love that so many people, 40 people are on this platform right now. We're all coming together over trying to be more resilient, regenerative, giving back to the earth, coming together in community and being strong together. So thank you for that reflection. So we have a video on our top 5 perennial plants that are easy for you to plant into your yard right now. And it's not, we have a lot of other favorite perennial plants, a lot of amazing plants, and we just chose these 5 based on how easy they are to propagate and how easy they are to spread, really practicing that share the resources ethic, fair share. And we'll take any questions or answers afterwards.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a lot of fun watching this video. I know we had a lot of fun making it for you. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We invite you to join our Sustainable Kashi community Facebook group, and we'll see you in the garden.
Yay, what an amazing video. Yes, this video will be posted on the Sustainable Kashi community Facebook page. And if anybody has these plant resources at their own home, we wanted to open up the Sustainable Kashi community page as a space where people can share plant resources via mail. So not meeting up in person. We don't necessarily want to be cultivating a space where people are contacting one another and possibly spreading something. So yeah, that will be posted in the Sustainable Kashi community Facebook page. And something really exciting is we are going to be able to give each cutting of these plants to 5 people. And that happens by going onto the Sustainable Community Facebook page, and we're going to have a post, and the first 5 people who respond in the post will be shipped the cuttings. So I have a question for everyone that you can reflect on and then answer on the Sustainable Community Facebook page, which is, having this time to stop and reflect, how can we move forward in a way that embodies permaculture ethics into our lives? And if anybody would like to answer, I'll take a few answers. You can raise your hand in the participants section. And if not, we can have that also happen on the community Facebook page.
James is going to answer. But
Oh, thank you. One of the best things you can do right now is, if you have an abundance coming off your property, is share with a neighbor. Yesterday we had a great exchange. We had been making hot sauces, and just walked over and gave the neighbors some hot sauce. And then a couple hours later, they came over with some wonderful mint and loquats. And that to me is permaculture right there.
Wow.
It builds the sense of community, but it also, and we kept our safe distances, but that's permaculture to us.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so beautiful to see that the humanness aspect of all of us shows up during these times. And that is totally permaculture right there. Being able to share anything that you have in abundance and giving it to your neighbor, cultivating that sense of community within where you're living is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have any answers that they would like to share during this time? How can you move forward by embodying the permaculture ethics into your life? Any examples? Brett, can you unmute yourself and share your answer?
So I just wanted to say thank you so much for putting this together. And yeah, in the past, I've spent a lot of time just kind of mulling over possible permaculture solutions here in my yard, and have certainly gotten started with some of those in the past. But more recently, I've just kind of embraced that there's so much to do, so much that we can do, and so much of that is just available to us within an arm's reach. We just have to take a look, sit and observe, and find some things that we can start mobilizing for our permaculture future. And already yesterday, I built a new compost bin, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I have what I need. I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy all this stuff. And I found everything that I needed to make a beautiful compost bin. So yeah, don't let your mind trick you. There's a million things you can do right now. And I'm super excited about doing more today. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much, Brett. Yeah, that brings us to the permaculture principle of creatively use and respond to change. So right now we could either come into a space where we feel disempowered or we feel empowered to make a change in our lives. And we have the resources. We have this group. If we all can hop on Sustainable Community Facebook page and just communicate about maybe resources that we may need or any questions that we have during these times, it's a great space to be able to cultivate a community and to really dive into that. We have the resources that we need to move in a more regenerative way. So now's the time to really start practicing and embodying all of this. And Bonnie, could you unmute yourself?
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm kind of new to this, but I have a mango tree in my backyard, so I've been sharing mangoes for a long time. And I have a really wonderful rosemary bush that it's just very prolific, and so I've snipped off and taken it to work and shared it around, and people actually loved it. So it was a nice thing to do. So anyway, that was pretty much the first thing that I realized that I was going to need to do when I was going to be home for a period of time. Like, well, this is time I can use to start a garden. And I mail ordered and was able to get a microgreens kit. So we've got that going, and I got some tomatoes and herbs and in the yard. And then I also set up as far as like using what you have, because I got that microgreens kit. I don't have room in my house to set up. It came with 6 trays. But I used to volunteer with students at a community garden, and they had these grow bags set up where you use the the reusable grocery bags, and you set those up to grow in, and then you put a tray underneath for self-watering. And
awesome.
So I remembered that, and I was like, oh, I could use these extra trays.
Cool.
So I planted some seeds outside. So I got squash, spinach. I wish I had your spinach, but squash, spinach, and cucumbers.
Amazing,
So
Bonnie.
I've got a few different things going, and lettuce is next, because my husband brought home some wine boxes from work. So I'm going to use those to plant the lettuce in.
Incredible. Wow. Thank you for sharing how you've just totally taken this opportunity to create that for yourself and using resources like reusing, what did you say, the trays to plant things into. That's incredible. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thanks.
And I did want to share, Gina commented saying intentional time each day to journal and reflect on one of the principles, how they apply to the inner and outer landscapes. Yes, I love this. I actually have been doing a permaculture principle challenge for the past year, and I've written some blog posts on it. So if you want to check it out, it's earthland.com. But yeah, we can totally go into how these principles apply to our lives and use these guidelines to live in more regenerative ways. So I love that since we have the time and space right now, why not use it in a way that is going to regenerate ourselves and create more abundance in our lives. So really taking that intentional time each day to journal and reflect on one of the principles. That's a great way to spend our time right now. Thank you so much, Gina, for saying that. Jody, would you mind unmuting yourself?
Okay. Okay, so here's my dilemma. Whoops, sorry, baby. I hope I don't lose you as I walk out of the pool area. This is my tree forest.
Beautiful.
I hope you guys can see it. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Well, I'm outside of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, well,
this is
amazing.
peach. This is a peach, and as you can see, I have a peach already. And a lot of other things, star fruit. But my problem is, see that huge canal? Okay, I have iguanas like you can't believe. And you can start things from anything. This is pineapple that I started from a pineapple top. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, that's great.
Another one deep in there. Pineapples you can plant anywhere. That coconut tree, which is now doing really well, was a coconut with a shoot coming out of it that was floating down the canal. So anyway, my problem is the iguanas. And I have asked and asked and asked on many sites, what do people do? And they have said, well, you need to put an electric fence up, which isn't going to happen with dogs and cats. And bird netting, collars around the trees. But as you can see, it's kind of going to not work for me because of that. It's all pretty much overgrown already, which is fine. That's called it, for people that don't know, what I intentionally did, that is less than 5 years old. And I have gotten black sapote, peaches,
Amazing.
dragon fruit, pretty much you
Beautiful.
name it, they've all produced. It was a crappy piece of property right there outside my pool patio. I mulched, I did all kinds of things to it. Mulched from a tree service, just call a tree service. Then they don't have to take it and pay to have it dumped. And they will gladly give it to you. So the tree hammock is, everything's about 12 inches apart. And anybody, I'm in a dilemma because a lot of the things the iguanas will not leave alone, like the fig, like the papaya, like the moringa. They just, they are killing me. So
yeah,
I'm shutting up, and anybody that's got suggestions, please help me.
So thank you so much for sharing, first of all, your private space with all of us. And I would love if you could post that on the Sustainable Kashi community page, and we can take that direction that people can answer on there, because we have a lot of people in this group right now. But that would be amazing if we could just move that onto the Sustainable Kashi community page, because we're a little bit over time right now. But I would love if you can have an answer to that question. That would be great. And I'll take one more person, whoever wants to raise their hand.
It looks like there's a few people that left their comments in the chat.
Okay. So Star Dylan said, I am teaching a class based on the 12 permaculture principles at our homeschool co-op to kids ages 6 to 8. It has moved online now, but we are adapting to change, and the class has continued on. That is incredible. That's what we need to be seeing in our society right now. That is what's giving us so much hope. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Amazing. Terry, you have some last thing to say?
Yeah, I just really want to point out how important interdependence is right now in this time. Not necessarily that we all hunker down and isolate ourselves and just become these little islands, but that we really learn what everybody's doing and where we can thrive together and bring all of our skills together. So I think it'd be wonderful either in the Facebook community page or wherever we can all get together and just say what it is that we do. And perhaps we can get stronger as a group together by knowing that and sharing all of our skills. I'm sure we have herbalists and we have sowers and we have obviously wonderful plant people, and really come together and just see how much we can thrive as a community that way. I think it's really fantastic.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. This is such an incredible resource to have right now. And like you said, there are so many different walks of life within this group. We all have something that we can share together, and together we're stronger. So together we can cultivate resiliency within the diversity of this group. So with that being said, we can all head towards the Sustainable Kashi Facebook page, and we will post the reflection question. So it's the Sustainable Kashi Community Group on Facebook. So if you look that up on Facebook, you can join it and be a part of it. And then the first 5 people who comment on our post that will be posted, it's already posted. So we can start all of these questions within the chat. We can start this whole conversation on the community page. And the first 5 people who comment on there will receive 5 plant cuttings from the video that we shared. And that video will also be posted on the community page, so you can watch that. That'll be posted tomorrow. So thank you everyone for joining. I'm so excited to continue seeing you all every Wednesday. I hope that you decide to come back. Amy has something that she's going to share as well, because she handles a lot of the social media stuff. Yes.
Okay. Hey everybody. Just wanted to ask if anybody wanted to put their name and location on that on the post that we just posted, just so we can get to know everybody a little bit more, see who's really on the call, and then develop more of a community here. Thank you all so much for joining.
Thank you all so much for joining. I hope that this call at least helped inspire you or feel connected within these times of social isolation and social distancing, and maybe gives you some things to reflect on how we can really move forward in a regenerative fashion and really start embodying permaculture ethics and principles into our lives. Okay, the question that I'm going to leave you with again is, how can we move forward in a way that embodies permaculture ethics in our lives? And I would love to see these responses on the community page. That would be incredible. So thank you all for joining, and excited to see you next Wednesday. Have a beautiful week, a beautiful day, and happy planting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, Mandolin. Bye.
Bye-bye.